Hi, this is Georgina Villasenor Lee, and it's week 3 in our Leadership and Management course. Welcome to my presentation on understanding temperament types in the workplace. So a brief overview of the presentation will include a brief discussion on the different temperament types as provided by Keirsey, moving on to temperaments in the workplace, why they're important, more so from a leadership and follower perspective and the benefits, and then moving on to a modern day example, how this all carries into the workplace, and to my workplace more specifically. So here's what we know about Keirsey's temperament types. We know that he's conducted an extensive amount of personal observations of people, but it's mainly derived from Isabel Myers' work. So what he did was use her work to find similarities within the 16 different personality types, narrowed it down to 4 groups. So within these 4 temperaments, he finds that the similarities within those groups are based off of how we use our words, whether in an abstract or concrete way, and how we use our tools to get things done to achieve our goals, whether in a cooperative or utilitarian way. This is what really sets him apart from Myers and her view of personality. So he provides to us basically this matrix um, showing the 4 different personality types, the letters representing the different uh, personality types and their whether it's sensory, judging, perceiving. We have SJs who are guardians, rationals who are NTs, artisans who are SPs, and idealists who are NFs. So basically, he takes this to another level and really challenges the idea of intelligence as well with his temperament types. So there's been this history of interpreting intelligence to be one's cognitive ability or their ability to think abstractly. And so Keirsey believes that it's not that, it's really how we act, how we behave in different circumstances. And so these different temperaments really show us different patterns of intelligent behavior. And so this, of course, is important as it translates not only into the personal life, but also into the workplace as well. So now that we've been given these temperament types, why is it important? What does this mean? As we know, human behavior is pretty unpredictable. It's very irrational. So this helps give us a better explanation and at least to a certain extent some predictability about people's behavior at the end of the day. I think what it also helps us do is develop a level of self-awareness of our own temperaments. So as leaders, once we familiarize ourselves with our own temperaments, we're better to able understand the temperaments of others, why they do the things they do, also help explain their, or maybe even predict their intelligent behavior as well. So whether a colleague or a subordinate from that perspective. So I think at the end of the day, this idea of inclusivity is very important for any organization in order to accomplish organizational goals, really embracing differences. The idea here is not to change people, but rather to embrace the differences and maybe find ways to complement each other so that at the end of the day, things can get done. So in a more practical way, I have found that someone who's usually different from you can have a negative connotation, seen in a negative light. But again, as I explained, if we embrace our differences, it could really produce some really great things. And so in my situation, I report to my boss, who is very much an artisan temperament type, and it was very interesting to find out about that temperament type in this week's reading. It really gave me so much more of a better understanding as to why she does the things that she does. It was initially frustrating adjusting to her. I've been working for about 2 years. I am more so a guardian type of temperament. What's wonderful between the two of us is we both use concrete words. We're both about kind of direct, matter of fact type of language. So the communication between us is great. The difference is in how we do things. And so her type is really more so from getting the maximum effect, doing whatever it is possible to get whatever it is done. But she does it in a way that's very technique oriented, which initially gave me the misconception that she just took forever to do things. She didn't know how to prioritize her work, or was not very efficient. But naturally, she is very much fitting the pieces to the puzzle together, which really makes sense as to the delay that can occur in doing so. So I've made my adjustments to not get frustrated and to understand that that's just her. At the end of the day, I think our goal, we're both on the same page with getting things done. Um, Also, it's interesting to see that she's very much one who likes to be stimulated. She can get bored pretty easily, so she's always looking at different case studies that are going on in our field, looking at different ways of doing things. So she's very much the innovator. Um, the challenge that can occur with her temperament is that when it comes to project management, if there is such thing that needs to be implemented, a new system, or um, that's what I can think of right now, she takes the approach where it's kind of like implement and then we'll see after the fact, whereas I'm very much opposite, and I really believe in planning accordingly. So this is very helpful to understand in the workplace how temperaments can clash or collide, but how they can also work together. Thank you for taking the time to review my presentation. I hope you have a blessed day.